Hi everyone! Welcome back to another one stamp set 3-card collaboration video with my crafty BFF Sintang Mayumi. For this month, we are using a super fun stamp set from Kindred Stamps called All the Feels. This is inspired by the fun Disney movie that my kids and I love. So I hope you like this video, and don't forget to also watch Sintang Mayumi's collab video using this stamp set. For card number 1, I will use a piece of Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock, and I will stamp the images using my Mina Misty and a Memento Tuxedo black ink. I will be stamping it twice for a crisper image. I will show you here one of the girl images is defective. It has a little gap on the stamp itself, so even if I press hard, it won't stamp very good. So I'll just use my black pen later on to fix that. I was thinking of sending it back to Kindred Stamps, but I got lazy and I already wanted to use it. And since I already have all the stamps in the Misty, I got another cardstock. This time it's the Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock, and I stamped the images again. I will use VersaFine clear ink and emboss it with clear embossing powder because I will be using watercolors. And after putting the powder all over the images, I will just use my Wagner heat tool to melt the embossing powder. I will set this aside so I can use it later on for my second card. So for this first card, I am using the Reese Dots embossing folder, and I like how it looks like it has different sizes of solid and outline dots across the panel. And I will be ink blending on this panel. I will be using Distress Oxide ink, the Twisted Citron, and my makeup blender brush that I got from Amazon. I started on the left lower side of the panel, starting heavy, then going light as I go up. I love these makeup brushes for blending, and I have been using this on almost all of my cards lately. To save time, I colored all the stamp images with my Copic markers and fussy cut them all off cam. I will be using this Happy Girl image for this super simple card. I will be trimming my blended panels so I will have a matte when I adhere this on my card base later. The sentiment I will be using is also from the stamp set, and it says "Time to Celebrate." I will white heat emboss it on a block cardstock using a Versamark ink and my Zing white embossing powder, then melt with my heat tool. And then I trimmed it into a smaller strip. I have this blue card base I want to use because it exactly matches the girl's blue hair. I will attach my blended panel to my card base with my ATG gun. Then I will pop my black sentiment strip with foam tape and attach the girl with my using my favorite glue, and put a small foam tape as well behind her. Then I will just remove the release paper, add some more liquid glue, and attach it on the lower portion of the blended panel. Embellish this almost finished card with blue sequins. I just actually attached 3 since I want to keep this card simple. And for the inside of the card, I grabbed another piece of white card panel, and I will use a sentiment from a Bo Bunny stamp set that just said "Happy Birthday." I used my black ink on this one, and I will also stamp the girl image over the sentiment using the Distress Oxide ink Twisted Citron. And then I'll just attach this one in the inside of the card using my liquid glue. And I just quickly added glitter on her hair using a Wink of Stella glitter brush pen. And my card is finished. I love the simplicity of this one. This is my card number 1. For card number 2, I will be using Distress Oxide inks, and I will just put some ink on my glass mat. The colors I will show on the screen. The technique I will use will be loose and easy, meaning I will just put some water on an image, and with the same brush, I will pick up the ink and just color the whole image, not staying within the lines because I will be fussy cutting them all later. I will use different colors on all of the images. First, I use Salty Ocean for the girl. The second one, I will use Lucky Clover. The third one, I will use Wilted Violet. And then for the happy girl, I will use Squeezed Lemonade. And the last little guy, I will use Barn Door. Then I will speed dry this piece using my heat tool and set it aside. Then I have another watercolor cardstock, and with my big flat brush and my leftover inks on the side, I will wet the cardstock with just plain water, and we'll just apply light wash across the panel. And I want it super light, so I will just keep adding water and blending it until I get the result I want. Then I will set it aside to dry. That is drying, I will use my Gina Marie Designs Peekaboo rectangle die to cut a border for my watercolor panel, and then off cam I will also be fussy cutting the cute images. Now here I am planning placement of the images plus the sentiments I chose from the set. I will just line up all the sentiments across the top of the panel. I chose sentiments like "You bring so much joy to my life" or "Sorry things got heated." Sentiments that are things we say to our friends on different occasions throughout our friendship, since basically this is a friendship card. I will use my Mini Misty and VersaFine Clear ink to get a crisp impression. And now I have this acetate here. I will attach it to the border and will turn it to a shaker card. I use a word die from Momenta and it says Friends, and I use a black cardstock for this one. Now I'm going to just arrange all these colored images on my watercolor panel. Once I am sure of the placement, I am using this press and seal wrap from Glad to ensure that they're lined up perfectly in place. Then I can now put glue and attach it. And again, I learned this cool trick from Jennifer Maguire. And I will press firmly on the images and slowly remove the wrap. I'll just put a thin foam tape around the peekaboo rectangle border. And And I will also get a sentiment from an old Simon Says Stamp card kit stamp set that says forever and always. And on a black cardstock, I will white heat emboss it. I will use a mini MISTI for this one to make sure I get a crisp image. And now I'm prepping my black cardstock with my powder tool. And melt this with my heat gun. And then I will cut this into a strip using a Lawn Fawn banner die. Now I have these colored jewels I bought from KINDRED Stamps. I'm going to adhere some of these jewels straight on the panel using my glitter glue. Then here you can see I am using my Siren sticker maker for my die cut and sentiment strip. And before I add all the sequins inside, I prep the whole panel with some anti-static powder so my sequins will not stick to some places where it's not supposed to. Also apply some powder on the sides of my acetate and frame border. Then remove the release paper. I also added some liquid glue and attached it on my panel. I actually trimmed down my watercolor panel to measure 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. And now the shaker part is done. Then here I'm just gonna attach both of my sentiments on top of the acetate. And for this one, I will be using a pink card base. I will just attach it with glitter glue, and my second card is done. I have noticed that the front sentiment in black is not very noticeable with a colorful background. So later on, you can see in my final photo that I did die cut the front sentiment in white, and I like it that way better. Here is my card number 2. For card number 3, I am using an embossing brick folder from Parkline Papery I got from Joann's. I'm using a distress ink to ink this background. Again, I am using this makeup blender brush. For this card, I will use the 2 girl characters that are blue and green. I already colored these images with Copic markers and fussy cut them off cam. I am also using the alphabet dies from this Tim Holtz die set, and I will spell the word sorry. I will die cut these letters using a dark brown cardstock that I have in my stash. So now I will place these letters on my panel and figure out where to put all these elements on my card. I took another strip of same brown cardstock and I will stamp a sentiment, sorry things got heated. I covered the word sorry since I want the die cut alphabet sorry to be the focal point. And again, I prepped the strip first with anti-static powder and pour the white embossing powder and heat it with heat tool. And then I will use my Lawn Fawn strip banner to cut this sentiment out. I did die cut more of the alphabet letters so I can layer them to add more dimension. I will now add foam tape on my sentiment strip, and after figuring out where to put all these elements, I will adhere all this using my liquid glue. As you can see, this will be a great sorry card for a friend or for someone you want to apologize to. I decided to stamp another small sentiment that says yikes straight on the panel in between the 2 girls. Then I will just adhere this finished panel on a white A2 size card base. final touch, I will add some shimmer on the two images using my Wink of Stella glitter pen. And my card is finished. This is my card number 3. And here is another close-up of the 3 cards I made. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please tell me which one was your favorite. As always, I want to thank you for taking time to watch my video, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!